E-commerce. Okay, we are going to discuss the topic e-commerce in 5 different units. So starting from the next slide, we are going to see about what are all the flow we are going to see in this 5 units, and starting from first unit we are going to see what are all the contents available. What do you understand by e-commerce? So chapter 1 is an introduction to e-commerce. Chapter 2 is consumer oriented application. Chapter 3 is EDI, which is nothing but electronic data interchange. Chapter 4 deals with electronic payment systems, and chapter 5 with network security. Then moving to the next concept, what is e-commerce? Then we are moving with electronic commerce framework, then e-com and media convergence. So whenever we are discussing about the introduction to e-commerce, we have to analyze anatomy of e-com applications, e-commerce consumer applications, and e-commerce organization applications. So what is e-com? Whenever we are giving a small introduction about the e-com, so before that we have to see a simple example. In olden days, whenever we are going to buy one product, we will give something and we will get something. So it is a complete interchange. But in nowadays, it is a modern business methodology that addresses the needs of the organization, merchants and consumers to cut cost while improving the quality of goods and services and increasing the speed of service delivery. So it's a new online approach to perform the traditional functional such as payment and fund transfer, order entry and processing, invoicing, inventory management, cargo tracking, electronic catalogs, and point of scale data gathering. So we are trying to reduce the paper usage. We will call that as a paperless transaction also. So it is a use of computer networks to search and retrieve the information in support of human and corporate decision making. It is associated with buying and selling of information and also a product and services via computers today and in the future via any one of the myriad of networks that make up the information superhighway. So this information superhighway is helpful in communicating the things from user end to the other end. So whenever we are speaking about the other end, one is merchant perspective, other one is consumer perspective. So it stands poised to make a momentous contribution to the way of government, business and individual conduct business. Next, key building block of e-com, electronic commerce, is nothing but electronic messaging technologies. How we can communicate, so how we can sell our product. What are the ways that I can make my product to sell in the open market. So these electronic messaging technologies to streamline business process by reducing paperwork and increasing automation. So whenever we are moving with paperless transaction, it is helpful for us to reduce lot of resources, and we can make usage of resources in an effective way. So for example, so EDI combined with JIT, just-in-time manufacturing methods, enable suppliers to deliver components directly to the factory floor, resulting in savings in inventory, warehousing and handling cost. So here the cost will also reduce. So technologies such as EDI and email, widely used for years in workflow and re-engineering applications, are now diffusing into other aspects of e-com. Slowly we are bringing all the things. A real-time example we can say is we are having lot of online applications like Amazon, then we are having Flipkart, etc. So earlier efforts resulted in small gains in productivity and efficiency. Integrating them together into the information superhighway will fundamentally change the way of business in done. So what are the effects of e-commerce? So whenever we are speaking about the effects of e-commerce, in previous slide we discussed about a small introduction about the e-commerce. So whenever we are coming to the effects of e-commerce, it can result in improved efficiency in finding and interacting with customers, in communicating with trading partners, and in developing new products and markets. So each time whatever the product we are introducing in the market, it is having a complete, so it is having a complete demand. It is having a complete demand. So whenever we are analyzing these facts, so suppose you are taking a new types of information based products, such as we can say that as interactive games or electronic books, so on, and information on demand can be very profitable for content providers and useful for consumers. So next, coming to the next part. So information processing, the key element of e-commerce. The information processing, the key element of e-commerce. So whenever we are analyzing the information processing, all steps of e-commerce are forms of information gathering, processing, manipulation and distribution, except production, distribution and delivery of physical goods. So various categories of business transactions we are having between company and consumer over public networks, which is nothing but a best example we can take is a home shopping, home banking using encryption for security and electronic cash, whatever we are using a credit card or debit card or tokens for the payment in the real-time systems. With trading partners using electronic data interchange for information gathering, for example, market research using barcodes, scanners, then information processing for managerial decision making or organizational problem solving, or information manipulation for operations and supply chain management. So for information distribution with prospective customers, including interactive advertising, sales and marketing. So these and all are basic strategies of e-commerce. So continuing to the information processing, from the managerial perspective, these transactions require tight coordination and control among many participating organizations to minimize the exposure to risk. So from global point of view, the complexity is compounded by long transportation distances, currencies, custom regulations and language barriers. So we have to cross out the language barriers and make our e-commerce in a successful way. So codifying these transactions and coordinating them through software via the information highway can reduce the complexity of the task. So information processing activity is in the form of business transactions. So whatever we are moving with some business transactions, those transactions will come under the paperless transactions. Paperless transactions. So moving to the next slide, e-com framework. So now we are entering into our concept, which is nothing but e-com framework. So electronic commerce applications, which is nothing but supply chain management, video on demand, remote banking, then procurement and purchasing, online marketing, advertising, home shop. So we are having a separate concept of public policy, legal and privacy issues in framing that particular e-commerce framework. Then common business services infrastructure, messaging and information distribution infrastructure, multimedia content and network publishing infrastructure, and information superhighway infrastructure. So here we are having a technical standards for electronic documents, multimedia and network protocols. How these particular protocols will help in communicating the data from one into other. So generic framework, this is a figure showing the generic framework of e-com. Then continuing to the e-com framework, the e-com applications will be built on the existing technology infrastructure. Okay, we can use computers, communication networks, and communication softwares forming the nascent information superhighway. So building blocks in the infrastructure, what are the basic building blocks we are having? So whenever we are moving with this content, building blocks in the infrastructure. So we are having common business services for facilitating the buying and selling process. Then messaging and information distribution as a means of sending and receiving information. Then multimedia content and network publishing for creating a product and a means to communicate about it. We can take any real-time product. Okay, not only small basic products, basic commodities. We can take any product. We can able to distinguish our own framework. The information superhighway, very foundation for providing the highway system along which all e-com must travel. So we are having two pillars supporting all e-com applications and infrastructure. One is public policy, another one is technical standards. So whenever we are coming to the public policy, universal access, the policy should be universally accessed, and privacy. We are having privacy for all the things. Okay, not only for application, like e-commerce, we are having privacy settings or whatever the thing we are having for each and every application, whatever we are having, are information pricing. Then technical standards, coming to the technical standards to dictate the nature of information publishing and user interface and transport in the interest of compatibility across the entire network. Next, moving to the concept. Any successful e-com application will require the information highway infrastructure. We will call that as a highway infrastructure. The highway will be a mesh of interconnected data highways of many forms. Either it may be a telephone wires, cable TV wires, radio-based wireless cellular and satellite. So we know that we are having two types of communications, which is we are distinguishing that into wired and wireless. So revenues in e-com are based on vehicular traffic, vehicles transporting information on multimedia content. Okay, and also, okay, we want to reduce that cost, okay, by making an effective decisions over that particular transportations. So other than building various highways, transport vehicles are needed, routing issues must be addressed, transport costs must be paid. So on the highway, the nature of vehicular traffic is extremely important. We have to consider that. So information and multimedia content, vehicle determines type of vehicle needed for electronic commerce. Okay, vehicles vary widely in complexity and may need to travel different routes on the highway. So for example, movies is equal to video plus audio, digital games, music plus video plus software. The electronic books we are taking means text plus data plus graphics plus music plus photo plus video. So all these combinations we are having, we will call that as a multimedia content. Multimedia content. So in electronic highway systems, multimedia content is stored in the form of electronic documents after digitized, compressed and stored in computerized libraries, multimedia storage warehouses. Normally we will call warehouses as a place where we are having lot of servers functioning on a different task. So these servers are linked by transport networks to each other and software or hardware clients that allow customers to access them. So on the highway, the messaging software moves the vehicles from one distribution warehouse to another in the form of email or electronic data interchange or point-to-point file transfers. The encryption and authentication methods have been developed to ensure the security. So we are having different cryptographic algorithms to improve our security. Whatever the data we are sending in the network can be, whatever the data, okay, we are sending in the network, we can strengthen the security of the data using many cryptographic algorithms. Nowadays we are having, okay, that sort of algorithms to improve the security factors. So encryption or authentication methods have been developed to ensure security of the contents while while we are sending the data in the information superhighway to the destination. So numerous electronic payment schemes are being developed to handle highly complex transactions with high reliability. So in information traffic, we are having public policy issues which will deal with the cost of accessing the information, regulation to protect consumers from fraud, regulation to protect users' right to privacy, and we are going to deal with policing of global information traffic to detect information pirating or pornography. Standards to ensure seamless and harmonious integration across the transportation network, and also to ensure access of any type of device that the consumer chooses on all types of operating system. It has to be user friendly. So convergence of technical, policy and business concerns. Okay, in this particular topic, we are having two types of differentiation. One is essential to the operation of the information superhighway, and other one is essential to the way that the business world is gearing up to the deal with it. So coming to the electronic commerce and media convergence, the term e-com or electronic commerce has become irrecoverably linked with the idea of convergence of industries centered on information that until today has been isolated. So content, storage, networks, business application and consumer devices. So what is meant by convergence? First we have to discuss about the convergence. So it's the melding of consumer electronics, television, publishing, telecommunications and computers for the purpose of facilitating the new forms of information based commerce. Then coming to the multimedia convergence, conversion of text, voice, data, image, graphics and a full motion video into digital content. So what is meant by cross media convergence? So integration of various industries, entertainment, publication, communication media based on multimedia content, we will call that as a cross media convergence. So convergence requires removing the barriers between the telecom, broadcasting, computing, movie, electronic games and publishing industries to facilitate the interoperability. Then coming to the technology advances driving the convergence phenomenon in e-commerce. So convergence of content, what do you understand by convergence of content? Translate all types of information content like books, business, documents, videos, movies, music into digital information. So this information can be easily processed, searched, sorted, enhanced, converted, compressed or encrypted, replicated, transmitted. Okay, in several ways, okay, that are conveniently matched to today's information processing systems, because all these particular things are interdependent. So convergence of transmissions, okay, which is nothing but compresses and stores a digitized information to let it travel through existing phone and cable wiring. The convergence of information access devices, okay, to function as both computers and TVs, or we will call that as a ubiquitous telephone with internal fax machine, modem and video monitor. Next, the marketing conditions driving convergence are widespread availability of increasingly low cost, high performance enabling component technologies. For example, semiconductors, storage and display devices, communication systems, operating systems, etc. So, these entrepreneurs feeding an anticipated end user demand for new applications, products and services. So, aggressive regulatory actions introducing the competition in monopoly markets. Okay, we are having two types of markets. So, we are going to see in the third unit. So, local and long distance communications and telecommunications and cable equipment are needed to transfer our data from one end to other end. So, most of before entering into the anatomy of e-com applications, now we have seen what are the mode we can publish, or we can sell, or we can intimate the people that we are having some product to sell in the open market. So these are the way. Media convergence, okay, is a way that we can tell this is the price of the product, and these are the commodity weightage we are giving to that particular product, and what is the demand of the product based on the market demand. Okay, how we are going to sell the product. Okay, all we have discussed. Then coming to the anatomy of e-com applications. So most of e-com applications rest on the entire e-com infrastructure and reach out to the customers. So applications can be found at all levels of the infrastructure itself. Example, multimedia content is a part of the infrastructure, but its creation is itself an e-com application. An email is messaging infrastructure as well as the purchasable and product. The parts of e-com infrastructure is light business applications, which is nothing but multimedia content for e-com applications, multimedia storage servers and e-com applications, and we are having consumer oriented e-commerce and information delivery, transport and e-com applications. Then coming to the elements of e-com applications, we are having a separate applications, whatever we have seen in our previous slide. Then what are the consumer devices we are having, then information servers with variety of content. So in this particular thing, what are the consumer devices we are having, which is nothing but computer, personal digital assistant, telephone, television and printer. So network service provider we are having, we will call that as a internet service provider. Then we are going to the network internet information delivery infrastructure, okay, where we are controlling all the things using video servers and government servers. Then we are having game servers, corporate servers, libraries, chat line software and electronic publishing systems. Okay, so with this I will stop, and remaining we will continue in the next session.